Prepare yourself for the terror. The prison of madness, where few enter and none return.
Welcome to Unsung Horrors. With Lance. And Erica.
Leave all your sanity behind. It can't help you now.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unsung Horrors, the podcast where we review underseen horror films, specifically those with less than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. I'm Lance.
I'm Erica.
And this is our wild animals having sex episode.
Yes, in case you're not in our Discord, we did announce that we are now an animal porn podcast.
Yes, so we invite everybody to join. Bring up, there's no kink shaming. Bring up your fantasies. Bring up any animals you want to see. We will be talking about animals fucking this episode, okay? So I guess get prepared to be turned on. That's what I'm getting at.
Ew.
I know. I'm terrible. But no, seriously. So this episode's film does involve animals.
Yes, but not, thankfully, sex.
Yeah,
no bestiality with the kitty.
Yeah, no, we will be diving into this director's film called Sex and the Animals. Probably talking about it, admittedly, more than The Black Cat, which is the film we're covering for this episode. Another adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's wonderful short story. This is the second time we're covering it. It was our second episode ever that we recorded in separate locations in 2020 during COVID.
Aw.
Luigi Cozzi's Black Cat, which was a fun episode. This one is from 1966, directed by Harold Hoffman. As of this recording, it has 617 logs on Letterboxd. You can find it streaming on Tubi. It's on YouTube. And apparently, this Black Cat was thought to be a lost film until the late, great Mike Rainey, the head of Something Weird Video. Mm-hmm. He discovered a print back in the early 2000s. So the first time it was made available was thanks to the great Something Weird, who put out a DVD in 2001 as a Black Cat double feature, the other film being The Fat Black Pussycat from 1963. And apparently that DVD has special features, a lot for this Pussycat movie, but it has a deleted prologue for The Black Cat. And I'm wondering what that'll be. I'm wondering if it's that adorable... Did you see the version where it's like the cat's playing with the yarn and it says like, for your information, this is a restricted... I wonder if that's the prologue.
Maybe that, or even just like him reciting a line from Poe's thing with like, and it's all like it's all scratchy and stuff. Maybe that's it.
It could,
at the very beginning. That would make sense. Yeah,
because that one you watched a version that had that.
They both did. YouTube and Tubi had that. Beginning.
Yeah, I think you're right. I thought it just started off with the guy like reciting Poe.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, the YouTube one has the cats with the disclaimer,
right?
And then both versions have the guy reciting Poe.
Okay.
At the lake or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that is the prologue. Maybe that's the version that's out like everywhere. So. And Severin also released a limited edition box set in 2019 called Hemisphere Box of Horrors. Do you have that?
No.
It was limited to 3,500 copies. Hemisphere Pictures is the Philippine-U.S. production distribution company, that did a lot of 60s, 70s V-horrors, including The Black Cat. And in the Severin set, The Black Cat is included as a double feature Blu-ray disc with the Torture Chamber of Dr. Sadism.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
And the other films are The Blood Drinkers, Curse of the Vampires, and Al Adamson's Brain of Blood. So I looked it up. People are reselling it for, an ungodly amount of money. So if you got any listeners have it, good job. Yeah. The Black Cat, everybody knows the Poe story. If you don't, well, there's going to be spoilers ahead. Actually, just pause this and read it. It's like a couple pages.
Yeah, it's not very long.
But in this version, we have an unstable writer named Lou, who is gifted a black cat as an anniversary gift by his lovely wife, Diana. And Lou is a complete asshole. He gets drunk. He taunts all his exotic pets.
I hate Lou.
Offering champagne to his raccoon, messing with his toucan, being a total dick to his pet monkey, pouring hot coffee on him. We're going to talk about his room of caged exotic pets later. And he inevitably murders the black cat, whose name is Pluto, by the way, just like in Poe's short story. Obviously, he's a bit insane, so after a stint in an asylum, including some much-needed shock treatment, Lou gets released, but soon starts drinking again. He gets another black cat that he finds in a water fountain, and he starts believing that Pluto has returned from the dead to get his revenge. Again, we kind of all know how it ends, but we will be getting into that.
Poe's immortal classic of horror and hate. The Black Cat. The most terrifying story ever filmed.
Come here, cat. I thought you were my friend. You black demon.
Nothing he does, nowhere he goes, can he escape the torment of the Black Cat.
So this is directed by Harold Hoffman, and I couldn't find much about him. Looking at his resume, though, and his affiliation with Texas filmmaker Larry Buchanan, he's clearly a Texan. He has a handful of writing, directing, and producing credits. Almost all of them are associated with Larry Buchanan. And for those, just for some background, Larry Buchanan, he was pretty much like a poor man's Texas version of Roger Corman. Very low budget. He pumped out a lot of sci-fi horror films. A lot of them were like repurposed, stolen ideas from existing Corman films.
Yeah.
And he made films. Most of his films were made for under $2,000 or $20,000. He made a few films that were under $10K. Very DIY stuff. Most of them, if not all of them, were filmed in and around Texas, which is always fun to watch, being a Texan. Mm-hmm. I hate to admit that, Texas sucks, but it's cool to see cool landmarks. But I was reading more about him, and his basic formula is having a cast of about 4 actors and 2 basic indoor locations, which is very much what we're seeing here.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Usually in Buchanan films, there's a poorly constructed monster with like ping pong balls for eyes, which we always love. I read if he couldn't afford to rent special cameras and equipment and wanted to shoot like a fight scene or any type of slow motion scenes, he would have his actors pretend to move in slow motion, and that would be in the movie. Also, it took time to synchronize sound. So in his films, most of his films have very minimal dialogue, which we also see in The Black Cat.
Yeah.
And he would do a lot of voiceover narration. He was referred to as the Schlockmeister for his arguably poorly made films, which he, as a nickname he embraced, he loved. But Hoffman, the director for The Black Cat, was an assistant for Buchanan for most of his film career. So it's easy to see a bunch of similarities between The Black Cat and a lot of Larry Buchanan DIY films, if you're familiar with a lot of his movies. I'd argue that The Black Cat looks way better than any Buchanan film I've watched so far. And mainly it's because of the cinematographer, who we'll get to here in a bit. But I think Larry Buchanan would be a fun director to dive into at some point. Anyways, The Black Cat is really Hoffman's only film which you can kind of rate his ability as a director, because his only other directing credit is something we had just been talking about. He was going by Hal Dwayne in this credit. It's a documentary called Sex and the Animals from 1969, which is basically a collection of pre-recorded segments of animals just going at it.
Yeah. With a couple of supervising zoologists or biologists or
ecologists or whatever. They just walk along the beach picking up rocks and narrating this thing.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about this documentary.
It's sorry folks, but if you watch it, I put a link to the movie in our Discord. It's on my Google Drive. It's public. You can watch it if you want.
It's 96 minutes long.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of it's very informative, and it's not just like music playing over animals mating. You get a lot of information, and I actually have
I learned quite a few things.
I have a half page of a few interesting facts.
Okay, I have like 5 things. But
I guess my
go Lance.
I get a little wordy on my bullet points here.
I think both of our reviews on Letterboxd of this are the same thing, because the opening.
It's a cold open And this fucking thing starts with a male and female turkey, obviously catching each other's eye, slowly walking up to each other while a fucking sitar is playing, like a beautiful melody. And this very, huge male turkey starts mounting the female turkey, and it's just utter chaos. Yeah. It's the music's all, it's terrifying to watch. He's got
like one of his clawed feet, pinning her head down. And I was like, is this the tone that we're setting for this movie? No kink shaming. If she wants to be strangled, whatever. Like, I'm not going to kink shame humans. I'm not going to kink shame animals. As long as everything is consensual, it's all good. But this opening, I was like, is this what I'm really going to be watching for the next 90 minutes?
Right.
And it's not.
It's not. It turns into like a National Geographic, something you might watch like in a 1970s biology class, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's very much that. Like, this felt like something I could have watched in my biology class in high school.
Yeah.
I do feel, though, that it feels a bit wrong to watch something like this without David Attenborough.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I feel like he should be narrating all of these things, like, and watching it without his voice just felt wrong. Like, can you imagine David Attenborough coming in during the horse fluffer scene?
Oh my gosh.
Where like he's just like, and now we have the stable owner coming in to prepare the stallion to mount the mare, and you can see his hand like, rubbing the.
This is essential.
Like, I do a terrible David Attenborough.
No, that was good.
But him talking about a stallion's penis would just be the greatest.
It's a monster.
Yeah, and obviously I kind of went into this knowing, okay, the horse fucking and will probably be the most graphic.
Sure.
But I think the rhinos actually took that. There's the zebras, and then they have the rhinos, which is very graphic. But
yeah,
they have pigs, beavers, geese, geckos, pelicans, frogs, fish, just going at it.
Yeah, no ducks. Sorry, Jim.
Yeah, there's no ducks.
Yeah. But apparently I didn't know that pigs have a corkscrew penis.
Yeah. And they showed it. It was all, it looked like something from The Thing. Like it was just like popped out and had a mind of its own. One of my favorite quotes, though, that I feel like you'd appreciate, Erica, is the female biologist. She was like, a male moth can smell a female moth from miles away.
I already put that out of my brain.
Sorry. I know if everybody doesn't already, that Erica loves moths.
That's not even funny.
She loves being sent live moths in the mail.
They need to die, every single one off this planet. I don't care what animal they feed. I don't care where they sit in the fucking circle of life. They all need to fucking die.
It's the circle of life.
Okay, so my favorite quote from this, and I don't know if it's necessarily a quote, but it was more so like one of the ecologists or whoever saying something about this particular animal. They said that female humpback whales are nicknamed the prostitutes of the sea because she accepts the male as fast as he can present himself. First of all, rude.
Very rude.
Not very sex positive.
No. Yeah, no, I'm scratching that one off of my list of notes here, too. Because when I heard that, I was like, oh, Eric is going to have something to say about this. The prostitute of the sea. That's...
How dare you,
yeah,
ecologist person, like... Whatever.
Some of the other fun facts that I have, let's share what we have here.
Okay.
Male kangaroos have forked penises to match the two vaginas that female kangaroos have. Mm-hmm. So the forked penises shoot sperm into each vagina during sex.
Yeah. And then there's those seals that have the forked uterus so that like they can just constantly be pregnant, which, good Lord, that is just sounds like the most exhausting thing ever. Like even just normal pregnancy, bad enough. But then it's like, oh, you have your baby. Oh, your other vagina or your other uterus is free. Why not fill that up? It's like, God.
Yeah, that's a terrible existence. Sorry. God is a cruel person if you believe in the creator. Mm-hmm. Speaking of seals, the penis bone of a walrus was so large that Eskimos clubbed seals over their head when hunting them.
That's a terrible thought.
During colonial days, it was chic to carry a curved raccoon penis bone on a vest chain to use as a toothpick.
Ew.
Yeah. Bears like to masturbate. That's a little one I have here.
Good for them.
Yeah, I think everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Male rabbits like to piss on females as an aphrodisiac. And during pregnancy, female rabbits grow a membrane over their vagina to padlock it from the male rabbits to go at it again. Okay.
Yeah, I like the what are those things called? Chastity belt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome if it has like freaking like it's like a bear trap. The female elephant doesn't go into heat until she's about 30 years old.
Same.
It takes birds a few seconds to copulate. Some of them copulate in flight, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then my last one, lizard penises are different shaped amongst all lizards, and some of them can be barbed, making it extremely difficult to dislodge, which, I guess a lot of species have that. But yeah, this was an incredibly interesting documentary. I was kind of surprised that I watched the whole thing.
Same. Yeah, but I was like, I'm learning stuff too.
Exactly.
It's not just like podcast research. I'm actually learning some stuff. There was a few things that, certainly irritated me, the whole female humpback thing.
Yeah.
But there was like one bird, I don't remember which one it was, where like the male has to build a nest for the female bird before she'll copulate with him. And I was like, good for them. Like, he's got to do a little dance, make her little nest, then they can get down tonight. The octopus, I think it was something like the male octopus will use one of his tentacles and basically like hand her a sack of sperm.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, want some candy, little girl? Like, I don't know how that works. And then he uses the other tentacle to like stroke her or something. I don't know. Like,
totally guy driving up in a rape van situation.
Imagine that fucking octopus in the front seat is good.
What's up? Hey, why don't you come on, jump in the back seat? I got some candy back here. Come here, you. Terrible. No, I enjoyed this documentary. I'm totally going to be that guy at the next party where I'm like, hey, you guys want to hear a few facts? I just learned this. You know what the prostitute of the sea is? Like, I did enjoy this movie or this documentary.
Yeah,
I have to say, it was a lot of fun. I think it'd be fun to watch with a group of friends.
Yeah.
Where we could just all learn together and just marvel in the universe of mating and the world.
I'm sure there is some like outdated stuff in there by this point, which, I'm not a biologist, so I wouldn't know what that stuff is. So maybe we shared some misinformation. Maybe the female humpbacks are no longer referred to as the prostitutes of the sea. I would like to hope so.
Yeah. Great whites stick that on her now. They're whores.
Yeah, they didn't have any shark mating, which isn't surprising because shark mating is pretty violent. Like those sharks will just fucking like latch on and like twirl around and. Yeah. Yeah,
they showed some alligator crocodile, which was a little violent. Yeah. There's. I guess what we're saying is there needs to be a sequel, a follow up to this Sex and the Animals documentary.
Yeah.
We recommend it. As Erica said, it's in the Discord, so have at it. But Hoffman is credited for the screenplay of Sex and the Animals. He also wrote The Black Cat, and he's credited with writing 4 other screenplays, all of which were directed by Larry Buchanan, all set in Texas. First of the film from 1963 is called Free, White, and 21. It's a courtroom drama about a black motel owner in Dallas accused of raping a civil rights worker from Sweden. Apparently, it's a very cheap To Kill a Mockingbird ripoff. It's on Tubi. I didn't watch it. Maybe one day. Hoffman wrote a movie called Underage, released in 1964. It's another trial melodrama based on a real-life court case about a mother who encourages her 14-year-old daughter to have sex with a 16-year-old boy. And I read up the real case, and they were actually a little older. So Hoffman doing that exploitation move, which works. And he then wrote The Trial of Lee Harvey Oswald, also released in 1964 by Buchanan.
How was this? I was going to watch it.
I watched it. So it was interesting because it's obviously released a year after the Kennedy assassination. So it's very exploitative. It's an exploitation film for sure.
You want to know what the most exploitative film of all time is?
What's that?
In Night and Ice. It's a German film from 1912 that was released just a couple months after the Titanic sank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, those would be good double features. But yeah, that's brutal. Yeah. And I'm sure it was very far-fetched and made up. It
was kind of adorable because like the miniature boat that they used for it just like you can see it like coming up to the iceberg, and then it just goes boop into it and bounces off.
And then like immediately sinks, and then that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
In one piece. So, they didn't know what had happened yet. They were like, we just got to make this movie, guys.
I mean, respect to exploitation filmmakers of any century. But yeah, the trial of Lee Harvey, it's basically the defense is pushing for an insanity plea. It's basically what if he wasn't murdered, by Jack Ruby, and the prosecution wants death by electric chair. The defense is pushing for an insanity plea just so he's incarcerated in a mental facility. It had an opening text crawl claiming that the film was banned because of, I don't know. I don't know why it would have been banned. I think it was just a fake kind of text crawl to bring in people. What I thought was really interesting and I kind of enjoyed and what was a good idea is it breaks the fourth wall. The judge and the defense and the prosecuting, they all stare, not the whole movie, but they stare at the camera a lot because you're a member of the jury, the viewer.
Oh.
You're here to decide if he's insane or if he's just some nut job who created. And I thought that was really, really well done. They used real life statements from people that saw Lee Harvey. All the statements supposedly are actually pulled from, witnesses of the shooting and people that were around and knew Lee Harvey. I had a good time with it. It's tough to recommend because it is very boring.
Okay.
I did break it up in multiple viewings because I was starting it late at night and I was like, I'll finish this in the morning. Mm-hmm. There's no surprises or real emotion here. It's just facts presented in kind of this slow, fictitious manner. Very silly cast, a lot of whom are in The Black Cat and most Larry Buchanan films. But I think it was on Tubi, might also be on YouTube. And lastly, I watched In the Year 2889 from 1969, which Hoffman also wrote. Total Roger Corman Day the World Ended ripoff. Thousands of nuclear bombs destroy the world except for like a handful of survivors. All the actors, again, are very wooden. It's mainly about a crazy dad and his daughter who survive, and people start showing up at their house. And the old dad is this crazy Texas nut job who's been preparing for the nuclear event for years, and he only has supplies for 3 people, so he's a dick to everybody that shows up. But his daughter wants to help everyone. These radioactive monsters start popping up. They've all survived. I thought this was interesting. They all survived because the house is in a valley surrounded by lead mountains and a lake that generates hot air to keep out radiation. Very lazy ass ending. It's one of those movies that instead of ending with the end, it ends with the beginning. Very kind of uplifting. But yeah, Hoffman mostly seemed to write screenplays from previous ideas or real life situations or courtroom dramas. Nothing really too original. Except maybe Sex and the Animals. So yeah, I mentioned that I thought The Black Cat looks great. It's got style. I think the widescreen black and white photographer is crisp, stunning looking. Although some of the scenes are broken up by these rocking 60 tunes, it has this very unsettling darkness and tone carried throughout, which I really like. And I think that the beauty is all thanks to cinematographer. Is it Walter Schenck? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who shot Russ Meyer's Faster Pussycat Kill Kill Kill, Mudhoney. Faster Pussycat is a perfect exploitation film.
Yeah.
Like Miss 45, it's like 5 stars. But his photography, Schenk's photography in The Black Cat is what like immediately drew me in. In the last episode, I talked about the other reasons why I picked this, but as soon as I started watching this, I was like, oh yeah, it's beautiful. Also, it's got a band playing like every 5 minutes. I'm in. And then lastly, in the crew, the editor of The Black Cat, Charles G. Schelling, he also did a ton of Russ Meyer's films.
Yeah, but this doesn't have, who is the band from Kotze's Black Cat, the song?
Bang Tango.
Bang Tango.
No, yeah. Obviously that Black Cat musically surpasses this one.
Yes.
The music, yeah, this one is by a rockabilly singer from the Dallas area. He was a Dallas musician, Scotty McKay. The actual score is like repurpose, stock music like most DIY films do. But he does provide, they're not original songs, they're all covers, but it's they're his versions with his rockabilly band. What do we have here? It covers Chuck Berry's Brown-Eyed Handsome Man, A Brown-Eyed Handsome Man, Les Baxter's Sinner Man, and Bo Diddley by Ellis McDaniel. And Scotty McKay, he also provided music for another Larry Buchanan film called Creature of Destruction from 1967, which stars our boy Les Tremayne, Good old Snaky Bender from Fangs. In that movie, he does a cover of the 1966 Here Comes Batman theme.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually on YouTube. I listened to it. It's not bad, but it's like, why not just play the real, well, obviously you can't play the real theme, but
Yeah.
he doesn't do a whole lot with it. Okay, let's jump to the cast real quick. Except for like 2 actors, the cast are pretty much just people that are in a shitload of Larry Buchanan films.
Yeah.
At least these 2 were like in every film I watched. Robert Frost plays Lou, the asshole lead. He doesn't have any other film credits. Neither does Robin Baker, who plays his wife Diana. She did have like a small credit in a 1966 film. Same with Sadie French, who plays Lillian, the caretaker.
Yeah.
She had one other acting credit. The side characters are kind of like the Larry Buchanan regulars, and some of them have interesting credits. George Egley, who plays the family lawyer handling the estate, he pretty much plays the judge in every Buchanan courtroom drama.
He looks like a judge.
He does, and he's a great judge in the few that I watched. He pops in a lot of other Buchanan sci-fi films like The Eye Creature, Zontar the Thing from Venus, and Mars Needs Women. Annabelle Wienick, who probably gives the best performance in The Black Cat, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
She plays the lady at the bar.
Yeah.
A lot of people in reviews call her the floozy, which is terrible. It's like the prostitute of the sea. But she's in a few Buchanan films. She steals the show as one of the many unnamed witnesses in the trial of Lee Harvey. She's really good in it. Okay. She also has some small roles in S.F. Browning's Don't Look in the Basement, Don't Hang Up, Wes Craven's Deadly Blessings. She's in Henry Winkler's directed, Burt Reynolds starring comedy Cop and a Half from 1993.
Stone Cold classic.
Yes. I couldn't even get that out. I was so excited.
Yeah, you were like stuttering there. I'm bored.
And lastly, for the cast, other than the Black Cat, played brilliantly by Pluto, we have the bartender, played by Bill Thurman. Doesn't have a big role in this. He's an actor from Texas who he's in a lot of big roles in most of Buchanan's 30-plus films. Popped up in every movie that I watched from Larry Buchanan. He also had some bit parts in some bigger Hollywood films, including playing the air traffic controller in Spielberg's Close Encounters, popping up as a hunter in Spielberg's The Sugarland Express. He's in Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show. He plays the asshole sheriff in Gatorbait.
Yeah.
He also plays the sheriff in Creature from Black Lake. He's in Mountaintop Motel Massacre. His list of films are cool. And I began recognizing his face when, like I said, I started watching these Larry Buchanan films. I was like, hey, that's the bartender. He's kind of like the Dick Miller character to Larry Buchanan movies.
Yeah.
Kind of pops up. Not as recognizable, though. Not as cool. Any other cast members you wanted to talk about?
That's all I got.
Okay, cool. So for anybody who's going to be watching this, pay attention to the quick intro, because that adorable cat's playing with the yarn, the restriction, no admittance to persons under 18 is very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an adaptation of Poe's The Black Cat. And of all the different versions, and there are a ton out there, we could talk about some of our favorites if we wanted, but I feel like this is almost the truest adaptation, a modernized version.
Yeah.
To Poe's actual short story. There's a few, obviously there's the caretaker Lillian. I like how it explains how the house burns down because he electrocutes the cat. But everything else is very down to naming the cat Pluto, that he's a writer, that how he's given the cat. It's very much like the actual story.
Yeah. I mean, sort of jumping ahead to like double feature picks, almost any other Black Cat adaptation could be a double feature with this, because those films are all so dissimilar from this one, using, only small elements of the story itself. Right. You've got Fulci's, you've got Kotze's, which we've covered. You've got Ulmer's with Karloff and Lugosi, Stuart Gordon's 2007, Masters of Horror with Jeffrey Combs as Poe, which is peak.
One of my favorites. So good. I love that version. Yeah.
Funny enough, so I mentioned in our Junesploitation episode, I think, that I had been, because we were talking a lot about Yaphet Kotto, and I was like, oh, I'm actually rewatching Homicide right now because it's on Tubi. There is an episode that the day that I watched this movie, the Black Cat, I was like, oh, I'm going to watch a couple of homicide episodes. The first episode I watched was about this black cat shows up in the homicide unit, and they're like, oh yeah, they found it in a parking lot. And like a couple of the cops are like superstitious. Like Munch is like, whatever, you guys are ridiculous. But then they get this case, a 10-year-old case, where they finally get a lead on it. And they go to find the body where someone told them it was. And it turns out the body was bricked up in a wall.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And
That's
then
great.
the guy who, spoiler for this homicide episode, the guy who they find out was the killer is a drug dealing poet who is dealing right outside the cemetery where Edgar Allan Poe is buried.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good, that's an original idea. I like that.
Yeah. But it's just interesting that I was just randomly watching Homicide, and that episode happened to be the exact same day that I watched this movie and was getting ready for this episode.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another version that I like is Dario Argento's Two Evil Eyes with Harvey Keitel and Adrian Barbeau.
Yeah.
That one's fun.
Yeah.
I already stated that I thought this looked great as soon as I started popping this on and watching it for the first time. I kind of wish we got more from Harold Hoffman, the director. Obviously, he learned his craft from Larry Buchanan, but it seemed like he was trying to take it in a more kind of artsy fashion than just like a DIY thing. I think like the pacing he creates in this and the writing, I think his adaptation is really cool. Like the modernized, like I said, he makes slight changes. The whole thing with Lou thinking that his dad brought Pluto back, and that, you know, the argument and what got him into the whole the mental institution, that's all added. And I think that's a nice touch. But yeah, I can't find out what happened to Harold Hoffman, what he's doing, if he's alive. I liked what he's done with first off, his documentaries are fantastic. But I like the crew he got together for this. And I just like, I kind of wish he kept up with like this Texas kind of gothic atmosphere type of movies.
Yeah.
Harold, if you're listening, hit me up.
Heyo. I think you mentioned the pacing. I think my only problem with it is, and I know you love the little like, oh, we're in the cafe listening to some,
yes,
hip.
Love the house band.
Okay, well,
cuts to the night scene clubs.
Not so much for me. I know that those got this movie to the running time that it needed because, we're dealing with a short story that's 2 pages long. We have to figure out some ways to pad this a little bit. I think I checked the time. I hit pause to go refill my drink at like the 30-minute mark. And I was like, okay, this guy needs to get punished like more and sooner. Because it felt like it took a while for it to get to the torment of him, which to me is more sort of central to a lot of Poe's stories. So I don't necessarily feel, it's already short. It's like, it's less than 80 minutes. So I'm not complaining about it in that sense, but it's about halfway through, I think about the 45-minute mark, where he gets out of the mental hospital after horribly killing Pluto, which
there's some startling scenes in this, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
I wanted him to get punished. Start right now. Like, I know, he's in the mental hospital getting shock treatment, which is,
which is like a 2-minute long scene in and of itself of him just moaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my only gripe with like the pacing is like, personally, I want to see any animal torturer get what's coming to them sooner. But it's not necessarily a fault of the movie.
Right. No, I get it. And you're right. Because I clocked the performances of the house band, and the first performance, and I'm not joking, it's 4 minutes long. It's the whole song of 4 minutes of just them playing. And again, this was very Roger Corman vibes to me.
Sure.
Showing a band playing a little too long, this contextualized like lyrics that are just, giving this exposition of what's going to happen to this guy or what's already happening. I enjoyed those nightclub scenes. The second performance that they show is a little under 2 minutes, but still we have probably 10 total minutes of just a band playing.
Yeah.
And if you don't like rockabilly, you're not going to like this. I'm a big fan of any band popping up in a movie. And I kind of want to see their whole set. I want to see what their set list is and stuff.
All right.
But no, I agree because, yeah, Lou is such, and I love his performance as an unhinged kind of total asshole. He sells it. I mean, he's what I really feel bad is his wife. So right away, you know that this Lou guy played by Robert Frost, he has this faint grasp on reality. He's kind of otherworldly. He's out of his mind. Yeah. And you know right away that this guy's fucking insane. So I felt, and it's terrible to say, but Diana's character, his wife, is so frustrating and sadly unsympathetic. I'm like, girl, you're in danger, girl. Like, this dude is unhinged. You should see this from the start. Quit buying him anniversary gifts and GTFO.
Yeah.
So I liked her because, on this podcast, we love camp, and this is all this is.
Yeah.
It's stupid. But yeah, he treats her like one of his pets. Yeah. I think it's weird how they almost try to get you to sympathize with Lou's character when they start doing his backstory about him being beat and like he was adopted and like all that.
Don't care, buddy. You poured fucking hot coffee on a monkey. Yeah. Like, we're done. Like, yeah. You lost me at like all your animals are in cages. You lost me at, you cut out Pluto's eye.
Yes.
You're keeping all these fucking animals in cages, trying to make them drink champagne. Like, I fucking hate rich people. That's what it really comes down to.
Exactly. Because I kept thinking, like, as soon as they first showed the scene of him, like, he receives Pluto and he just walks off and it's their anniversary night. And she's all, okay, good night, honey. He's all, oh, good night. And he goes and spends the night with his exotic pets. I immediately thought, who in their fucking right mind has exotic caged pets like this? And I thought, oh, Michael Jackson. He probably did. And tons of like rich, crazy people who like to drink champagne and put them in their pets' water bottles, like to show off, like to friends. Yeah, no, this guy, I think we all know how it turns out. So watching these scenes, I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait till this guy fucking gets it. Like you said, though, it does take a long time to get to that point.
Yeah, and honestly, and I know we're skipping ahead to the end, how he gets it, unsatisfying. Like even his death. Like where he's running from the cops and oh no, he gets in a car accident and dies.
Right.
Like you deserve so much worse for the animal torture that you inflicted. I am a big believer in like when it comes to animal torture, you should get back tenfold what you put out.
Yeah. His eye gets popped out, I guess, during the wreck. But yeah, essentially he got away and he sees a cat in the road and that's what kills him. I do love the car chase. I like how it ended with, the classic cops. One of my favorite scenes is when they're standing by the brick wall and, he's like, this house is built like a brick and he like hits it and then the cat meows and then the cops are immediately all tear down that wall. Like, that's how cops react when they hear a cat meowing. But I did like the tacked on car chase. I was like, okay, this is another little modernized.
And then like the car flipping and like.
It's a little miniature. Yeah, it's a little car.
I loved it. I love the miniatures in this. I love the house burning.
Yeah, a dumb trivia that I found on IMDb is the owner of that Jaguar automobile that Lou's driving around throughout the whole movie is coincidentally named Tommy Poe.
Oh.
And it actually says, no relation to the author of the short story.
Oh, well, thank you for clarifying that, IMDb user, whatever your name is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I felt like the ending, although I liked the tack-on car chase, he essentially got away. And I was like, wait, what is this? Is he getting away? Because he's smiling real big. But then we see the cat in the road, flips the miniature car. And, it's just him with his eye, which, again, going back to the cinematography, Shank, the gore in this, it's startling. Yeah. Like, and it wouldn't have worked in color. Black and white obviously makes this look way more authentic, way more kind of realistic. But the plucking out the cat's eye and then showing Lou slowly opening his hand to reveal the eye, that is like, there's so many memorable moments in this.
Yeah.
The axe to his wife's head.
Oh, yeah.
Which is on a cover of...
Yeah, it's the cover of the Angry Samoans album cover, Inside My Brain, which don't give me credit for that because I was watching this. Fucking John comes out of the fucking guest room, walks by, looks at the screen and is like, oh, that's where the album cover's from. And I'm like, what? He said, from Angry Samoans. And I'm like, I swear to fucking God, I hate you.
I want that brain.
I know. Like, it's not fair.
But, and I guess you need to be familiar with the band. I wasn't familiar with the band.
That I haven't listened to Angry Samoans since I was in high school. So, like, I had to look it up and be like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they're from like the early 80s is what it looked like. And yeah, I listened to some of their songs to see like maybe I can pick one for the ending of this, but nothing really worked out.
Yeah, I like what you picked anyway, so.
Okay, yeah. I was going to pick something like, that the Scotty McKay band were playing some of the cover out. But I just pulled something completely
No, but
different.
like the cover album is literally like her head with the axe in it with blood, coming down it. And so, and John was like, oh yeah, this was my like, horror movie music album cover crossover. Like obviously he's listening to a lot of like Death and, all of like the Fulci movies and stuff, all of the references there. But like, yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. Like just this random obscure movie from the 60s ends up as an album cover for Angry Samoans. So there's clearly a fan in that band.
Yeah.
In this movie, or maybe they don't even know where it's from. Maybe they just came across this random like photo and were like, oh, let's use this.
Yeah. And again, like the gore scenes, especially, I think the whole movie's gorgeous, but those are like memorable. I think once you see this image, it's something that you could like, it'll pop in your head, like when you're watching another movie or if you see like an axe murder or something. Really, that's one thing, one of the major things other than like what we've already talked about, but the feel and look of this movie, I don't know. I really liked this adaptation. It's I'm not going to say it's one of my favorites of the Black Cats, but I've never really watched one from the 60s. Most of them are like, the Great Basil Rathbone kind of comedy one from the 40s, obviously the Ulmer. Yeah, this is a good one though.
Yeah.
And it comes from Texas too, which I have I think I want to pick Buchanan at some point. I do have a theory too, a few things about this movie. I feel like the whole backstory of him being adopted, Lou, like I think almost trying to sympathize the character. I'm wondering if he pulled that from Larry Buchanan's real life, because I was reading his short biography and it's very, very similar to this Lou character where he was like adopted. His parents like disowned him and he was adopted in Dallas. And, I don't know if because they were so close and buddies, maybe he kind of incorporated that fact. And I have another theory too. While he was filming this in 1965 or whatever, he gathered all these caged exotic animals and he's like, he really got interested in them and he was looking at him. He's like, man, I really wonder what it would be like to watch that toucan fuck. I'm going to make a documentary about this. And then he started work on the documentary. Yeah. So any other like favorites of this movie that popped up that you like? Anything else you want to talk about?
I mean, like I mentioned, like I love the miniatures in this. I think that the wife's death is really gruesome and fucking amazing. Not gonna lie, it was hard for me to watch the scenes with Pluto, and even if some stuff was like off screen, I think the worst part for me was when he had the cord around its neck and he was dragging the cat, and I was just like, this, like I have like just a visceral reaction to things like that. Like I can't help my eyes tear up. Like I can't even help it.
Yeah.
Even if I know like this is fake, blah, 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 whatever. I just immediate reaction. That sort of thing happens. Like that happened to me. There was some movie at Fantastic Fest a few years ago called like The Pool or something like that, where a guy got trapped and there was like an alligator.
The Pool. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, the dog dies in a horrific way in that. And it's so like over the top. It's ridiculous. Like the dog, I don't remember, like there's some rope that's hanging down and the dog like jumps down and like gets hanged and its neck snaps really quickly. And like, I'm sitting next to my friend Mike and he busts out laughing. Oh no. But he loves animals.
Right.
But like
it's different reaction.
Tears just immediately coming down, even though like I know, like I can't help but feel that way. So that took me out of it a little bit, which is definitely like, this is not my favorite Black Cat adaptation either. I do like it. I think people should watch it. I think it's a great adaptation of the story itself. I think, it represents, some Texas filmmakers. Yeah. It's got like that swinging 60s vibe to it, like that very much in the, Something Weird video, Roger Corman, like all of that. It hits all of those beats. So I definitely, I'd recommend it to folks.
Yeah, to go back to also the cord. The treatment of the cats. He always picks them up by the scruff of the neck. Like it just looks rough throughout, especially that new scene with the cord. I did want to shout out though the junk drawer in the kitchen where he pulls out the cord. We all have the junk drawer.
Yes.
So when I saw that, I was like, hell yeah, if I was a complete fucking asshole, that's probably the drawer I would go to too.
Yeah.
But I'm not an asshole. And I did want to end this with our pal Josie Imba wrote a review on the Something Weird release DVD. He wrote this on his Bleeding Skull site back in 2005. I think it's just a short snippet of a long review that you should all check out on the site. But he says, the Black Cat hovers halfway between slick horror seriousness, excellent cinematography, interesting compositions, and cheap weirdness, mismatched miniatures and eye lines, over-the-top acting. Thankfully, the inconsistencies are what make it work. For every gruesome hatchet chop or seemingly real needle injection, there's a solid dose of generic go-go music and or bizarre incidental music cues straight out of a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Intentional sensationalism or inspired ineptitude, either way, I wasn't bored. And that's kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's a short runtime. There are some animal cruelty scenes that a lot of animal lovers, most people should just kind of cringe at. Actually, everybody should cringe at.
Yes.
But it's totally worth the watch. What would you pair this with? What's a double feature pick?
I mentioned earlier, I think any of the other Black Cat films would work fine with this. Like, just have a Black Cat double feature night. I think it was Henry in our Discord said like he's saving this movie for October and he's going to be doing like all the Black Cat movies, which is great because like you're watching films of the same name, but none of those are the same film.
Right.
So I think any of those would work. But I'm going to stick with an animal theme that we've, pretty much had for this episode. No sex though. Well, kind of in my pick. So mine's a Hell Hath No Fury, like an animal scorned double feature. I'm going to go with Orca from 1977. For those who have not seen this fucking stone cold classic, an orca witnesses its mate and calf get killed by a drunk fisherman, and then it takes vengeance on the whole harbor. Like, it's fantastic. Like, it's hard to watch the opening, so it has that in common with it. But just like the orca just fucking going after people. It's fucking great. It is a Jaws ripoff, of course, but I think it works in like the animal vengeance side of it. I almost went with Jaws the Revenge, but I'm like, I'm not going to go that far.
I've never seen Orca.
Have you not?
No.
Oh my God.
I need to watch this.
You're in for a treat. Save that for like Horror Gives Back or something. Like that would be
we should do an animal attack one this year. Okay.
We'll get back to that. So yeah, I'm going to go with Orca 1977. What about you?
So I thought a Russ Meyer pick would work with the cinematography, especially specifically one that Walter Schenck shot. But I'm going to go with the Poe film. And since there are elements of both goofiness with some sprinkled and serious tones, I landed on Roger Corman's horror anthology, Tales of Terror from 1962.
Okay.
It contains 3 segments, merging a total of 4 Edgar Allan Poe short stories. The Black Cat is one of them. Easily the standout here with Peter Lorre and Vincent Price just trying to outdo each other every scene they're in. Particularly a wine tasting scene that is so fucking entertaining. Like everybody just watched that scene on YouTube.
Yeah.
One of the segments, the first one called Morella, is short, very atmospheric, leaning a little less into horror comedy. So the shifts in tone are welcome, kind of like what you see in Hoffman's Black Cat from time to time. So yeah, double Edgar Allan Poe, double feature. I'd start with Tales of Terror, end it with the short 70-minute Black Cat, because I think the Black Cat does have a satisfying ending way to end the night.
Okay.
So we have August coming up.
We love August.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite months to do on the podcast, but it's my least favorite almost episode to cover because my pronunciations are just
oh yeah,
God.
We're terrible. Like I mean honestly, we're bad with French, Italian, so we're going to be equally bad with names from folks in Hong Kong. So Shawgust is back. Now, this year, because we are running into some challenges with finding films that A, are Shaw Brothers, B, like all that have to be all of the above, that are Shaw Brothers, that are horror, that are under 1,000, and that are easily accessible, not only for us to watch, but for our audience to watch. So because of that, we're going to be a little bit more flexible this year. I've already broken a rule before, I think, with
Nine Demons?
Was it Nine Demons, which isn't Shaw Brothers, but I picked it because it was Chang Che, and I was like, whatever, he's a Shaw Brothers director.
Yeah,
it's like
totally worked.
Adjacent, totally. So we'll probably have some flexibility with our picks this year, whether it be maybe they're not actually Shaw Brothers produced, but there are Shaw Brothers, they're Shaw Brothers adjacent, have cast or crew affiliated with them. Maybe have some flexibility with genre. Maybe, I don't know, we might even have to push some flexibility on views. We'll see. But Shawgust is all about celebrating Shaw Brothers, basically Hong Kong horror. So I hope everyone is just sort of in that mode for next month. And again, your watches, if you participate, it's just, you can watch whatever Shaw Brothers you want. Make some recommendations in our Discord channel of what you're watching. I know I'll probably throw in a few that are non-horror that I love.
I tend to watch more just martial arts action during the month than Shaw Brothers horror.
Yeah, because October we go hard on just horror. So Shawgust is nice to kind of break away from that a little bit. Now, that being said, with all of the flexibility I said we are going to have, my pick is a Shaw Brothers movie. It is a horror movie, and it is under 1,000. So I managed to find one, thanks to our folks in our Discord who pointed out this one is actually online streaming, not on one of the normal platforms, but I'll put a link to it in show notes. And it's also in a box set released by Imprint called Shaw Horror or Shaw Scares or something like that, Volume 1. So Sex Beyond the Grave, 1984 is my pick. This is not as salacious as you might think from the title. So basically it starts out that way. Like the opening scene, you're going to be like, oh man, this is rough. Like this is not rough. Like this is going to be hard to watch, but like rough isn't like, ooh, that's nasty. But it quickly turns into a Poltergeist ripoff and also sort of a, after school special about gambling in a way. So it's very disjointed. It makes sense though, because there is no like single writer or even writers credited on this. It's written by the Shaw Collective group. So I would imagine that involves at least 5 or 6 people.
Interesting.
It's a little messy, but there's a lot of fun moments in it. And I think there's plenty still worth talking about. I'm sure we'll have Ian, who's with us every Shawgust for one of our episodes. We'll figure that out offline. But yeah, let's, so Shawgust, coming up this month, Sex Beyond the Grave. Again, I'll put a link to where that is in our show notes. As of this recording, it has 205 views on Letterboxd.
It's low.
Yeah, low. I think it'll go up because of the box set, plus hopefully this episode.
Yeah, and also we are 7 weeks into Klon's Sizzling Summer of Side Splitters movie challenge. I'm way behind, but I hope to make up some ground and finish strong. So reminder to anybody who is thinking about or is participating, this is a 15-week challenge with Klon giving away one of his awesome zines if you complete it. So I'm hoping I can. Everybody should check it out. We could put a link to that.
Yes. Definitely put a link in show notes for that. If you're not already, you can follow this podcast on Instagram at Unsung Horrors. I am at Hex Massacre on Instagram and Letterboxd.
I'm also there at El Schibi.
Right, thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you back next month for Shawgust. Bye.
Well, don't you know, my kitten is kitten, just like you hound dogs love your bone. Leave her alone, yeah, leave her alone, yeah. You hound dogs love your bone. Leave her alone, yeah, leave her alone. Yeah, I love my little kitten, just like you hound dogs love your bone. Leave her alone, yeah, leave her alone, yeah, leave her alone, yeah.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shows from the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, please select the link in the description.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.